First thing you want to do is get the car up in the air. Then once you get the car up in the air, you're going to need a jack or some kind of stand to support the rear end. And then it's pretty simple after that. So after you got the car up in there and you got the rear end supported, you're just going to take off two things. You're going to take off the sway bar, and then take off the shocks right here. Two shocks, bam, bam. And then after you take the shocks off, the sway bar doesn't need to come off for the movement, but since you're going to be taking the control arms out, it's easier just to take the sway bar out right now. So you take the sway bar out and take the shocks off, and then when you release the shocks, that's going to allow you to drop the rear end low like that, so you can get these springs out. And then once you get the springs out, then you can start taking the control arms out. All right, so got the sway bar out. Unbolt the shocks like this, bam, bam. Once you unbolt the shocks, you can let your jack down. And this will lower the whole rear end more than it could have before with the shocks connected. So get those things out the way. And this is how you're going to release the tension on the springs. And once you release the tension on the springs, you're pretty much good to go. But yeah, you just get it out of there until the spring is about like that, until you think you could wiggle it out of there. Oh, bam. Just like that. And just like that, spring comes out. Damn, that boot is messed up. Same thing with this one. Get her out of there like that. Alright, now normally I would say this little boot right here would need to be replaced, but I'm not going to replace it because I don't have an extra one, so it's just going to go back in the way it is. But those bottom boots, these ones that are on the control arms I had on my other car have bottom ones, so they didn't have the top ones because it wasn't like a big spring like that is. It had like a little tiny spring with an adjuster piece on top. So, and then, all right, so once you get to this point, pretty much good to just start swapping control arms. You want to lift the rear end up a little bit and then just start with the, I'm probably going to start with the top, but it doesn't matter what you start with. You just take off one bolt, take off the bolt, pull out the control arm, put the new one in, bolt it back in. Simple as that. All right, update and a quick note. So, bottom control arms are in. Bam, bam. They're not tightened down though. I got the bolts on here, just finger tight, front and back. Front and back. Same thing with these ones, the top. You want to just get the bolt on there, bam, get the bolt, or that obviously isn't on, but this is why right here, the top is most important right here. It's because you see these teeth right here? When you tighten this down, these teeth grab into the metal. So it kind of twists this inside bar right here. So the bushing flexes, goes like this, but always tries to bring you back to center. But yeah, you don't want to tighten these down until you got the control arms in and you jack the rear end back up to where it would normally be sitting. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly where it would normally be sitting, but jack the rear end back up after you get them all in there, jack it all the way up, and then tighten it down after it's jacked up. So that's what I'm about to get into right now. I got swapped these two, about to put that one in right now, and then I'm gonna take that one out, put the new one in, and then we're gonna jack it up and tighten it all down. And as far as these the shocks right here, these aren't tightened down right now either, but I put these ones back in after I put the lower ones in. So once you get the lower ones in, you don't really have to have it super low anymore, because the springs aren't on there, or the springs are already back up in there. So alrighty, wham bam shazam, they're all in. One more thing to remember, I already told you about the little pinch thing, the little pinch bolts right there. One more thing to remember is to make sure that your springs are lined up in the same orientation. So this little cutout right here, you want it to be lined up like straight back, pretty much. As close to straight back as you can on both sides. You just want them to be lined up straight back. If this one's in the front, and like if this one is up here and then this one's in the back, or vice versa, this one's in the front and then this one's in the back, one of the sides will be a tad bit lower, maybe a tad bit higher, whatever, depends on the orientation, but you want them to be the same exact height. So you want to line this one up, try to make it go straight back, and then same thing with this one, make it go straight back. And then after you got both of those lined up, all the control arms are in. Sway bar is still not in, but we're gonna lift up the rear end. We're gonna push up the rear end, and then we're gonna tighten everything down. All right, so jack it up until it starts to, I'm kind of gonna go until it starts to lift up off of the whatchamacallit, a tad bit, not real, just like that. You see that? That means all the weight is on the rear end. And so it's sitting up where it would normally be sitting, and the springs are compressed, the shocks are semi-compressed. Now that you got it jacked up, you want to tighten it all down, and then we can stick our sway bar back in. Alright, so now we got all the freaking control arms in and tightened down, shocks are tightened down. Now what you're going to do is put the freaking sway bar in, and then you can release your jack here and then put the car back down. You're good to go. And that's all there is to it. Now, quick update on my car. If you guys follow me on Instagram, or if you've seen my last YouTube video where I rebuilt the whole rear end of my last Mustang, I actually crashed that Mustang. I was just practicing drifting, you know, and doing like 60 around a corner, third gear. Kind of just got away from me, started sliding, didn't have no forward momentum, and just slid right over a curb. So broke the left two wheels, bent the axle in the rear end, the dual brake caliper brackets got bent. So that's why I had to go. I bought this car. I got this car for $400. It was a roller, no engine, no transmission, nothing like that. It's a convertible with a cream top. I'll put it on the, after I put it on the ground, I'll show you a little bit more what it looks like, but I just wanted to show you what I got. Well, my last car had problems. The front control arms were blown out. All right, I gotta go. All right, back to what I was saying. I had a customer come in just now, but my last car had a bent control arm on the driver's side, so I would always had problems with the alignment. But when I bought this car, I got real fucking lucky. Brand new control arms, ball joints, spindles, shocks, everything in the front, brand new. It already had these springs on there too when I got it. But everything in the front, whole suspension, brand fucking new. And I was like, hell yeah. Only thing was these kingpin bolts right here were kind of loose when I first got it, so I had to tighten some of the, had to check all the suspension bolts and everything and make sure they're all tight, but it's good now. But yeah, all, you can see the spindle, like the wheel speed sensor in there, brand new. Spindle's brand new. Fucking, I got real lucky getting this car for $400. It already had chassis stiffener on it, springs and everything. So once I fix my other rear end and I get some new axles and put the rear end in here with the 410s, my car will be driving real fucking nice. But yeah, I just want to, so yeah, since I crashed the other car though, this is the motor that came out of the 02. This is a 99 shell. This shell's a 1999 GT. But I did solid motor mounts with it when I did that, and I upgraded the clutch. Got a brand new clutch, stage 1 Exidy, with the Exidy racing flywheel, lightened flywheel. So it's freaking got holes in it and everything. It's pretty sick. But new clutch, new flywheel, clutch fork, pivot stud, throw out bearing, pilot bearing, the whole shebang, you know. And then still the same old piece of shit transmission. I need to change that out one day, but you know, it's gonna run till it breaks. But yeah, so back to the control arms. With these things, with the putting the sway bar in here, and if you want to keep these brackets to hold your brake line or whatever, you're gonna have to bend this tab backwards, like facing this way, so you can bolt it up. But other than that, bend this tab, get your sway bar put in place, and then bolt it in. And then we're gonna put the car down, and then I'm gonna show you guys a better view of the whole car. Alrighty, so here it is. There's no bumper on it right now because I still haven't put it on from when I did the motor swap, but this is the 99, the new Mustang. Interior is not that great. It's got the tan interior. Seats are pretty messed up. I'm gonna switch those out for my black ones. Carpet's kind of fucked up, but again, I'm gonna switch those out for the black ones. Back seats are good. Yeah, but that fucking driver's seat's fucked up. The top, it doesn't have any holes or tears in it, nothing, except for this right here. But there's still not a hole. No leaks, nothing in the top. Got real lucky with that. But I think I am gonna buy a black top for this actually. That's the new car. I do miss the old one. I do miss the old one. Alright, well, check out my last video. And then stay tuned for more videos to come. Like and subscribe or whatever. And then see you guys next time. Thank you.